Bring them out, bring them out, bring them out, bring them out. Bring out those receipts, baby. Bring out those receipts, ladies and gentlemen. We are reaching critical mass. And coming into the rest of summer and fall is where we're gonna interpreting these transits are gonna be so much more exciting. And I'm looking forward to breaking that down for you guys. As you can see, Mercury is 3 degrees and it's getting ready to retrograde at this degree. Ooh, got it. So, it's all about to get super real. There's 3 levels of real here. We have the most grounded level of your values, Taurus. That is the natural realness. It is the physiological sensing and the source of your natural energy, and the source of natural energy around represented by this. This is like the natural human quality of strength as well. Then you have super real. Super real is Virgo, who I like to coin the realist. Not as like a person. A person cannot be a zodiac sign, but Virgoan perspective is possible for certain human beings, dogs, living beings, to have the spirit of with the sun, the receptivity. Shout out to the Virgo moons, Virgo risings. You embody perfection and at a literal degree. All right. And yeah, Mercury and Virgo, you have exalted super ability to analyze information as easy as breathing. All right. So yeah, Virgo, we're looking forward to your season. Your season has been my favorite season. One, because it's my 5th house, so I'm biased. 2, we've needed receipts now more than ever. Pisces has gotten to work. And shout out to the Pisces and integrity. You are very aware and understanding of the fuckery at foot. So this is the final analysis. Mercury in Virgo is reevaluating the final analysis. Final analysis referring to Saturn ending its cycle in Pisces since 2008 when it was in Virgo, and Neptune since the 30s. I think the 1940s and 50s was when it was in Neptune. So this is harvesting everything from then. If you think about how everything we're experiencing now is diametrically opposite to Pluto Leo in the 40s, in the 50s, rolling out the red carpet, that glorification of celebrity culture that made it start, versus now where the people, collective Aquarius, aren't even so much fed up about it, but everyone's quick to cancel everyone now. It's very important to look at these generational differences that have always happened. We just weren't alive for the last time it has happened. And in understanding Mercury and Virgo, we're going to really take into account its relationship with the outer planets and the cycles that have been made the beginning of the year relative to the transpersonal, trans-Saturnian planets, all the outer planets that are not visible to the naked eye after Saturn. All right. And Saturn as well, which is also very important. What we're getting ready to do is go through Virgo and pull out every fucking receipt that you didn't even know you had and you had an idea about, because we're going to the I Told You So tour. And if you were at the I Told You So tour last year, October, where we just started the eclipse, this is the finale, baby. See, a lot has happened since October of 2023 and October of 2024, which we're going to step into. And trust me when I say, some of you were with me on the I Told You So part 1. See, the beautiful thing about last year is when we built our ark. God came to us, said, it's finna rain. Don't worry about my previous promise. It's finna rain. You need to build your boat. Where were you? March of 2023, when God came to you and told you, here are the materials, here are the beliefs I want you to ingrain into your lifestyle, because it's finna go down. And people are looking at you like you're crazy, like you're aware that the world is about to end, and you were building your ark. You were integrating an integrity of beliefs relative to 30 years prior or your whole life, preparing you through the vehicle of your imagination to transition into a whole nother world, a whole new world order. Fast forward to March of 2024 after the Saturn retrograde, where you finished building that boat and you took it to sail March of 2024. In between March of 2023 and March of 2024, you went on your first I Told You So tour. October, November, and December of 2023. I am not going to do this Mercury and Virgo transit until we can all acknowledge in the chat, live or not, that you were on this tour. Some of you may not realize September, you uncovered receipts. You integrated beliefs you may have been gaslighted or conditioned to believe weren't possible until you integrated it into your own behavioral patterns and materialized it in real life, pulled those receipts, and in October you presented the receipts. See, October is Libra season, and we had the eclipse in Libra. Look at the South Node, and Libra is all about agreements, debates. See, Libra is very classy. So after analytical Virgo in September, where we pulled these receipts, we have these receipts now. I have receipts. People were calling me out because of a prediction I made in 2022, real receipts. And that's light. Regardless, these receipts were pulled. And what did we do in Libra? We presented the mastery of our behavior, the integration from 6th house Virgo to 7th house of integrating your behavior with partnerships of others. You presented your fucking receipts, and Libra is intelligent and classy. What does Libra rule? Law. So this was discovery in court. You were like, Your Honor, here's a receipt. Here's a receipt. This person said this wasn't possible. Here's a receipt of me actually doing this or this actually happening. You were saying that we had to wear masks or whatever. Here's a receipt of Fauci saying that you don't need to do, like, all sorts of things that have been happening and updating every year. Libra was where you unlocked the South Node destiny and presented this en route towards transforming the status quo. Scorpio in November is where you have now finished discovery. You presented these receipts classily, and then you put a little sauce on it, because Scorpio is, if not anything, the sauciest zodiac sign alive. You put sauce on it. Now that you've already established in a balanced and classy and civil, keyword, Aries is raw, Libra is civil. Aries represents me when I'm by myself. I'm going to scratch my fucking butt. Libra represents me integrating myself socially with others. I'm not going to scratch my butt unless I'm that much of a savage. I'm going to be more civil. Okay. No, I'm not going to wash my hands. I'm nasty. So look, and then I'm going to shake your hand. Okay. So look, see, in Libra, I'm going to wash my hands. Oh, see, because I have to go through the Virgo checkpoint, and Virgo is hygiene. So Virgo's just going to side eye you, like, you know how many germs you have? And you don't want to deal with Virgo's nagging. So just wash your hands. So with that being said, we presented these receipts, and once we did, you put a little sauce on it. Yeah, remember how you were saying, hey, I can't believe you even try. Scorpio season is where, now that you presented the truth, I can't believe you tried to gaslight me. I can't believe you thought that I was wrong. Yeah, you were talking all that shit. You were talking all. Dom, I love you for saying this. Did you notice how Virgo said people have been coming for Virgo? I said Mr. Beast was a Virgo. Mr. Beast is actually Taurus sun, but he has North Node Virgo. Yes, Virgos have been so much more humble ever since Saturn went into their op sign and started trying them and started getting at them. All right, don't worry. Virgo's revenge arc is coming soon. Y'all try to play with Virgo. You forgot it's fucking Virgo. You can't fuck with Virgo. And Virgo's not even the homie like that. I fuck with Virgo, but they be throwing shit. Do you know how many strays Gemini and Sag catch from Virgo? I have no reason to give Virgo any good credit, but I'm gonna keep it real. Virgo is the fucking realist. It is, even though we get like strays 30% of the time just for existing. I got the Taurus rising. I fucked with Virgo. So here's the thing. You put the sauce on it in November, and then December was the finale of that year. This is where we were in Sagittarius, and now you were just being wild with it. You're like, hey, remember how you told me that I was wrong, and then I proved your dumbass wrong? Like, it was an amazing I told you so tour. It was so amazing of an I told you so. It was very petty. It was so amazing of an I told you so tour that the part 2 was scheduled and immediately sold out by February. Okay, I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. So we're getting ready to come back around. For those of you who were in part 1 of the I told you so tour, because you played a hand and you're embodying who you are with Jupiter leaving Aries and going into Taurus and manifesting this unique Uranus and Taurus quality that shifts the status quo, that goes against old traditions, that goes against stupid shit from the old world, that goes against this romanticization of the past that was never really as beautiful as everyone swears it was. All right. And is a reflection of what we're seeing in the present. You were put on this earth by God to get off of Noah's Ark and build this new world. In between that first I told you so tour, you went on the Ark ride, and now by this time next year, you will have deboarded the ship. This is you coming back around to conclude the South Node Libra lesson, back on the final eclipse in Libra, and get this, okay? This is going to bring a very serious theme because the world is, as we know it, is ending. But the Nate, and it's also the election year, and we're at that peak point in summer and fall where everything that has to happen to interfere with the elections on all sides is happening. All right. And that's why I want to talk about Mercury and Virgo. Mercury and Venus and Virgo is pretty much preparing for this happening. We're going to be aware of by the end of August. Okay. So yeah, the theme of the I Told You So tour part 1 last year was to be as petty as possible. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, there's a childish element to it because you're coming into wonder of discovery where you're almost having to reflect how childish the psychic attack or the projection or just the outright gaslighting or lie said to you was. This year's theme is bringing now a totality. Everything that you pulled receipts for last year was an initial discovery. This is now the final discovery. This is now the final analysis. And this is where we're going to really take a bit of history here. Everything we're aspecting with Mercury on Saturn. Remember, Mercury was on Saturn about 6 months ago. Okay. We had established this cycle where with Saturn, we signed the contract of now wrapping our brain and processor around everything with Saturn we believe. By this point, we're on the arc. You just finished a crucial I Told You So tour. You got on Noah's Ark and you started to see it rain and thunder. And now all the people who are talking shit about you are drowning. Everyone's been going out sad. Not everyone. A lot of people going out sad this year. Okay. Pathetic and desperate attempts don't even hit the same is the theme of this Mercury Virgo transit talk, because you're able to analyze how specifically desperate and pathetic these attempts for people to stay in denial are against you living in truth. This is where you, out of integrity, have been called out by your own self so that you have to deal with this. Just saying this because I don't want to, I'm not saying that anyone's a victim, like you're so perfect and everyone's hating on you. No, you've had shit you've had to call out yourself. That's the difference between you and these people. You're doing the shadow work and you're addressing facets you need to integrate where these other people are spiritually bypassing and projecting their problems on you because you trigger their beliefs, because the way you live and what you do triggers things that they've lied to themselves and told themselves was the truth, right? And now you demonstrate with actions that it was always a lie. Most of you really just be chilling. Okay, so keep that in mind, guys. This Mercury transit in Virgo is what we're harvesting. This retrograde is crazy. If you start to experience technological mishaps, remember Mercury is a trickster god. He could wear that hat. That's not the only type of god he is, but he could wear that hat. There's always an underlying message behind any Mercury retrograde mishap. And the confusing thing is, it's not the actual planet Mercury. It's not like the planet Mercury is like, let me fuck with electronics on Earth. It's more so the angle, and in that seemingly backward motion, It's like an illusion. Remember, we see less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. So, what we process as technological mishaps isn't really what it is versus what we are hallucinating. Just like the way Mercury looks like it's going backwards, but it's not going backwards, and that's kind of an illusion, is the way when we have technological mishaps, to us, it's going to look like that wasn't supposed to happen, but this creation is complete and perfect. So it's Mercury through these instances showing you what to pay more attention to, resetting and aligning the time. And a lot of it is just annoying shit. And you could tell you're being trolled. All right. So just be careful traveling during this period. I signed a contract. I should have read through that bitch a little bit more. I'm not even going to lie, but it was cool. It went through nice. It's people will tell you shouldn't sign contracts and you shouldn't do things on Mercury retrograde. I think that's pseudoscience. Planets do not dictate what you should or shouldn't do, but you don't want to be the other end of it where you believe that there's no correlation or influence. So you do want to sign that contract on a Mercury retrograde. You do want to travel, but you want to read that contract over with a fine comb. Knowing that Mercury is retrograde doesn't stop me from signing a contract. Like knowing that it's raining outside doesn't necessarily stop me from going to the store. I know that it's raining, so I'm going to get a fucking umbrella. You see how the weather doesn't force me to do what I do. That's how some people talk about astrology. Like, oh, what in my chart means that this is going to happen to me or this is going to happen to me. Boo, you are what's going to happen to you. The astrology is just space meteorology. So it's giving you the current real time alignment of the relationship and language between the sun's ecliptic path, the Earth's equator, and the planets orbiting around the sun, and the language that each phase says. They don't control you. You co-create with it. You're the one that actually commands the stars. That's what this teaches you. So you don't worship these stars. This is what God created. Genesis 1:14, 1:15 literally said, hey, read this stuff for signs, stars and signs. The path of all these stars I have set before any of you are born. Look up and you'll be able to read what we're communicating. This is why the three magi in the New Testament looked up. The biblical translation of that is literally magi. Looked up, found Jesus, gave him the gifts. This is facts. Okay. All right. So with that being said, okay, this activation of your beliefs activated here in February near Neptune a totality of the awareness. Because look at the sun here. The sun is here too. And a totality of an awareness of everything your mind is in line of believing. You activated beliefs here. Mind you, you just came out of a crucial I told you so tour. Do you get what I'm saying? So out of this I told you so tour, this now activated new beliefs because what you previously may have been presented wasn't true. You proved what's true. This now shifts my beliefs and I'm more aware of everything I can believe. This is crucial because now in Virgo, you are analyzing everything you previously believed. And just like Mercury was on Saturn, now that it's getting ready to oppose Saturn and make this 180-degree angle, this is what will complete and begin to harvest your beliefs. How are you harvesting what you believe? Through your behavior. What in Pisces was, I believe this. I'm literally processing and thinking what I believe. In Virgo turns to, I'm analyzing that what I previously believed. This is how it's real. Or this is how it's not real and how I have to adjust my beliefs to align with what's real. That's the best part about mutable sign transits. They adjust your perspective. So just like I'm going to go to the store And it raining does not dictate whether, oh, I should go to the store. I'm going to find a girlfriend because it's raining. Is the same way how Mercury retrograde is not going to stop me from signing a contract. But just like it's raining and I'm going to get an umbrella, Mercury is retrograde. So I'm going to read over this contract 3 times in a row just to make sure I didn't miss anything. This is everything I can do when it's not retrograde. This is everything I can do when it's not raining. Okay. So just to kind of remind you, real astrologers do not teach you that the planets affect you. And this is not a regulated field. Just like if medicine wasn't regulated, you'd have a lot of quack doctors. You're going to have a lot of fraud astrologers. You're going to have a lot of fraud tarot readers. That's not our responsibility. It's the responsibility of the accrediting board that doesn't even legitimize this as a real field, similar to how they did psychology. And you wonder why people are the blind following the blind leading the blind, all sorts of people who don't know their moon signs. Rant over. Mercury in Virgo, as you've seen right here, is getting ready to make real the first part of this year. January to about July was the activation stage. And that's why the rest of this year is going to be fun, because we get to now see what we're harvesting. The beginning of this year, we had to go through Pluto, we had to go through Saturn, Neptune, North Node, Chiron, Uranus, Jupiter, boom. And that's where, coming into the summer, it's starting to heat up because now we're finally harvesting. And here are the things. Okay. All right. Mercury retrogrades usually bring this, people coming back to your life, exes coming back to your life. And a lot of that is a slight bias and just kind of choosing to notice it more. Kind of like how when your computer malfunctions when it's not Mercury retrograde, you may not know, you're going to notice it more Mercury retrograde. But a lot of it also is you're reevaluating information. So it's not so much that it brings exes back. It's if you need that experience in order to recover that information, then that's going to facilitate it. It's like energy flowing in the path of least resistance. You're taking a multivariable expression of how things can express, and that's what's going to express to you. Now, it is also going to be twin flame reunions, and a lot of that is because of Venus opposite Neptune in Virgo. All right, and that's really coming into this. What you're going to really enjoy this entire transit. We know that this is true because Mercury is just 3 degrees and you're already coming into ridiculous receipts. Just like how I did the exclusive live tarot, and we were able to show how cartomancy picks up on real life events where we had read that someone was dying as someone was dying. That is heavily because Mercury was in Virgo, and we're getting ready to harvest the real magic effects of the work we've done since April and March, April, and May. Okay. So, and for those of you guys who are wanting to be in a passionate twin relationship, to be with your person, I hope you're still not waiting for it. For those of you who are still waiting for it to happen, you are consciously blocking it from happening. It's literally right there. It's just waiting for you to accept and decide that you got it now, because you know that believing is seeing and not seeing is believing. Seeing is believing is for children who haven't really necessarily evolved to the point where they cast their quantum reality by balancing both players of your imagination and what you physically sense. So I hope you are living it. I hope you're embodying it. There's nothing wrong with fantasizing. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't fantasize. Just keep 2 feet on the ground and remember to embody that and be that, so you're not waiting for it. All right. the behavioral pattern that's getting ready to harvest relative to the treasure you've unlocked on the Noah's Ark, the reward for your beliefs, is what's going to take the supernatural abilities and talents and put them all together. So, Mercury and Virgo is literally having your brain process how it is you express and perfect your supernatural abilities. Because once we get into the eclipse in October, now this is you coming into an awareness of how specifically you communicate and present to others how you have begun to evolve. Everything about last year was closing out the past 20-year cycle. And this year is, now that we've positioned the train tracks, we're moving forward. This is getting ready to show how you're breaking through and showing up as. And it's this Virgo season. If I want you to see Libra as the playoffs, Virgo is the training montage before you present in Libra. Okay. So just coming into 3 degrees of Mercury Virgo, you're analyzing information that is getting ready to confirm with Saturn and Pisces everything you have believed. And now I have to pull the Morpheus card. If you take the blue pill, blah, 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 and if you take the red pill, blah, 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 you know what the blah blahs mean. Okay. This is this type of transit where you could selectively choose to ignore what's going to show up for you linearly and or non-linearly. And you may have to accept certain realities that don't necessarily align with what you want to believe, but maybe always knew deep inside. You may have to accept certain facets of yourself that confirm what you knew about other people. And Mercury and Virgo is showing you the real details of how this is real. Pisces activates the belief. Gemini activates the thought. Virgo integrates the habit. Sagittarius interprets the meaning. So when you look at how someone can break a record and then someone beats that record, and then after playing a game for so long, someone innovates it and then finds and discovers new strategies, this now shortens a record. That's the process of theory and hypothesis in Gemini, analysis Virgo, interpretation Sag, belief Pisces. Then we do it again. It's the scientific method. The scientific method first was graphed by the Zodiac and the Mazzaroth, and everyone has always practiced it before a group of people have established that that's what it's called. It's the nature of perception, aka magic. You are constantly doing it as you, of course, experience all these 12 states of consciousness at once. All right. And that's really what I want to know. So this is a good question. The only thing more powerful than knowledge, or the only thing more substantial than knowledge, is imagination. Now, a Pisces said this, so you could be very biased. And he's not a Pisces, right? But he was born, someone born Pisces season said this. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. Could be biased, but believing is superior to knowing. However, you can't truly imagine if you don't know. The less you know, the less capability you have to imagine. The less you know, the less potent your belief is. You don't necessarily have to know to believe. Belief has Aqua in its 12th house. It releases knowing. When you believe, you're surrendering what you know to believe something. However, supporting it with proper knowledge will strengthen that belief. So I really love that question, because belief is the total lesson with Saturn and Neptune. This is a faith chapter. Once we get into next year, so much more is going to be clear, because collectively we're moving forward individually to mark a whole new era. We're actually alive for this. This is crazy. It's gonna feel like a hot potato, but it's also gonna feel really fucking badass. So yeah, we are finally harvesting. I want you to think about this period as harvest, especially once we get into Virgo season. The integrity of your beliefs is getting ready to be expressed through your behavior and how well you have aligned with this. All right. Chances are many of you have been taking in at an unconscious frequency level, the awakening of so many people's beliefs, traditions, warring with your own core beliefs, everything you're not conscious of, but at a frequency level, you're going to feel this at a quantum level. So like you're not going to be processing this, but you're still going to be feeling it, like non-local atoms moving at a small, at a very, Planck length rate. Okay. And all this is going to add up, and this can influence the feelings and the moods that you have. And some of you may unconsciously almost feel like what you're doing is wrong. The way you're living isn't really proper compared to what everyone else is supposed to believe. And this is where, through this Virgo transit, you're going to really express that no, they really tried it, they could never fuck with you, and you actually are the real deal. And in reevaluating this final analysis, everything about Mercury and Virgo is going to carve out the nature of you being the real deal, because it's going to harvest all the work you've done. This is where we're going to see who's done the work, by the way. This is where we're going to see who is actually practicing and who's actually mastering these talents. So while the sun is getting ready to activate these talents, Mercury is getting ready to retrograde. And we want to look at how the moon coming into Leo, passing Leo, once it passes the sun, Mercury goes station. So Venus reaches the end of Leo. And at this peak integration of the courage of your heart and the fullness of your imagination, this is going to inspire you to transcend how specifically you express your talents through your heart, and open up more room for you in preparation for your activation of this Leo to now master these talents. And that's the first part of this Mercury retrograde. August 6th, post the new moon. Once we're actively manifesting the analytical understanding and tangible reality of these awakened talents, you're going to understand how to really begin to master it pretty much. Mercury is meeting with Venus, giving you a subconscious understanding in alignment with your heart and your mind on how to already put all of this together. Virgo is putting everything together. There's several different components that put up this microphone. So Virgo is going to represent each individual component, and Pisces is going to be the collective vision that sees how it's all correlated. So Virgo is integration, where we take the Aries, the Taurus, the Gemini, the thought, the Cancer, the feeling, the talent, Leo, and we put it all together. And when we put it all together, we present that in Libra, performance artistry, Libra of the artist. And this is where you're going to come into real progress, because you're Kobe in the gym telling the interviewer, we're not fucking done. Yeah, we won a couple games or two. You got to finish the job. And that's going to be the difference between people who bug out and spend all of their advance because Virgo starts to manifest. That's what this retrograde is, right? By the time you're reevaluating, you've just got word of how real what you have is. You've just done experiences now that show, oh, maybe this power I have is realer than I thought. I have to reevaluate how I think about what I'm doing because I underestimated myself. Now I have to go back into Leo, and the courage that I had before, now I'm bringing these new analytical details to now change how courageous I am. Right? There's a way that before it went into Virgo, you were like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this. I believe in myself. I can run that 200 meter. I can run a 12-second 200, right? And then Mercury goes into Virgo, and you just kind of run a 200 real quick and you clock in at 11. Now it's like, oh, now it's retrograde back in Leo. Like, yeah, I really can run. In fact, I can run in 11 seconds. You see the subtle difference? The confidence is still there, but there's more of a sureness in light of recent details that you're going to uncover and reevaluate. By the time Mercury comes back into Virgo now, you're working on your 11-second 200, which is crazy fast, I think. And now you're perfecting it. Now you're revisiting the analysis. Practice making perfect. So I think that's a really good analogy here. But this date is going to be very amazing because Venus is now polishing the beauty with which you can master these techniques, all the skills and the mental mindsets, all the mindsets of evolution that you had coming into June, you're now getting ready to integrate. You activated new mindsets every year, like a firmware update where you update your processor, and now you're integrating this update. But now this is a once in a 12-year update where now you're updating like the whole device. Like you have minor updates, then you have that like major update that's completely updating the whole system. That's what this is. And that means the nature of how you integrate new behavioral patterns relative to these new mindsets are going to be very extravagant. All right. And Venus here is going to give you a very polished initial understanding of how real everything you're beginning to work on is. All right. So the way to look at that here at 1 degree versus 29 degrees, if this was happening in 29 degrees, you would understand how all the analysis that you have completed proves that Jack is indeed the murderer. All right. But what this means at 1 degree and 4 degrees is that, hey, did you know Jack said that he was halfway across the town, but we found a blood sample at the crime scene. We still don't know what more to do with it, but we're just beginning to realize that this might be a lying ass murderer. Do you see the difference? The complete analysis where it's like, yeah, we got all the receipts. We understood Jack's blood was at the scene and they did this versus 1 degree where you're just coming into discovery of Jack might be a killer. Jack just spoke to me yesterday like nothing happened. Massive disillusionment. Massive disillusionment. Everything that's been said since March and June, July, you're coming into the real facts. And as such, there's going to be a counterforce that will do everything in its power out of desperation, out of fear for you to not present these receipts. This I told you so tour is going to shift the entire matrix. It represents the last time we will have an opposition as Saturn Pisces in 30 years and with Neptune in 165 years. So we are getting rid of themes that have been established since the 40s so that a new generation can push forward. See, the leaders of the new school, all the Pluto Sagittarius born after 95, 96, and the whole theme of this new world order is that no one's coming to save you. The real villain have been the consumers. The real villain have been the people who have been pointing the finger at a mysterious elite, allowing them to control them. And now people are going to realize that the truth is going to come from each and every individual and that you cannot censor everybody. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius and the colonists who decided that you can't tax them without representing them sparked revolution. The French who didn't like how the monarchs were basically abusing their authority voted with their guillotines. The Haitish that didn't like the oppression from the French showed you that slavery is indeed a choice. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is that shift once again in human history since 248 years that you are going to be a part of, North Node Aries, whether you want to admit it or not. And this is where it's not about, do you agree with what I agree with? You have a mission here. You might believe that the pandemic was real. I might believe that the pandemic was fake. Maybe the truth could be somewhere in the middle. It's not about, oh, if you believe this, you're not spiritual. And if you don't believe what I believe, you're wrong. No, this North Node Aries is whatever. It's not about how right or wrong you are. It's about what is authentic to you right now. You have to share your beliefs like I have to share my beliefs. Everyone has a role. You have certain insight that only you can understand in your way, that time will tell how real it is, but you have to be at that place doing what's authentic to you, which may be opposite of what I think. I have to do that. You have to do that. They have to do that. Everyone has their role to play. And most of these roles will run contrary towards each other. The pro Palestinian has to stand on their pro Palestinian stance the way that the pro Israeli has to stand on their pro Israeli stance. The way that someone who is has a different stance has to have their stance. If you're inauthentic about it and you feel like you have to do this because everyone's doing it, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And that's a principle that follows you your whole life, but is especially relevant now. Okay. Pieces of a collective global puzzle, the duality of the universe. So, knowing that, the challenge of the North Node in Aries is you have to get very, especially if you're Capricorn, you have to get very comfortable offending other people. You have to get, and I don't mean being rude to other people. I'm not saying you have to be honest and trigger other people. You have to be okay with values and actions you take authentically to you, pissing off other people who feel like you shouldn't do it. It's supposed to challenge them. Other people are supposed to challenge you. It's how you respond to these challenges that mark the authenticity of your character. All right. When you get called out, you align in integrity. When you call other people out, you find out. And when I'm saying calling out, I don't mean like saying anything. This is all action based. North Node Aries is cardinal. This is based on your actions doing the talking, and there are going to be certain things you do that are right for you to do that other people will have a problem with, and that will expose maybe what's not right with those people, which is why they can't look in the mirror and they have to project on you. So this is such a very important transit because you are integrating and harvesting everything that's real about everything you've believed for the past 2 years. And that's what brings me back to a very important facet of this transit. If you look a couple years ago, we have had Mercury. We've had Mercury begin its cycle with Saturn in Capricorn and then in Aquarius. You see that? And then in Aquarius again. This is all the apocalypse cycle, guys. And this is the population control period. Everything that started since 2020, this was the cardinal action. This was the strengthened quality. And now Pisces was the effect. So we're coming into the actual effect of everything that's happened since 2020, which they've tried to phase out and make you forget so you don't understand how it's all correlated. So that's what makes this the final analysis at the complete bracket of the final 3 zodiac signs. Everything coming into next year is an analysis off of a brand new cycle, the new world order, the new world order, more so 2026. All right. Whether that's correlated to the Illuminati conspiracy of the New World Order is anyone's guess, but I'm talking about order as far as Saturn and the new cycle of Aries. Boom, end of the world, end of the zodiac sign, world Saturn. Okay, so with that being said, by the time we come into August 6th, keep thinking it's a game. By the time we come into August 6th, from now until August 6th, this is you coming into initial discovery. So what's important from now until August 6th is we're getting ready to activate these supernatural talents. Supernatural because for 248 years, Pluto is in Aquarius. Over the next 20 years, awakening Aquarians and celestials. So we're going to have We're going to have open contact with aliens. They're not going to be anything like we thought they were. And you'll find the alien invasion is probably within. It's probably, not going to come from above, but it doesn't mean like we won't see stuff happen in the heavens. But yeah, it's going to be a extraordinary next 20 years. So we're activating these supernatural talents, which serve as the integration of everything we've activated since March and April in terms of your power and new mindsets. This integration is preparing us for harvest, and you're going to see you manifest easier. You're going to see your intention is aligning with your beliefs so much easier, because now what was a seed that just broke through the ground is now getting ready to harvest. 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 And the best part is you don't even have to wait, because it's happening now. So from now until the 6th, this is you coming into initial discovery. This is that moment where at the station, you're realizing your behavior is starting to change. How? Because of details. Your brain is actively right now processing details, and you're coming into the first huge discovery, which is more of a realization of your talents, of who you are in relation to your society and the collective. The first aha of many aha moments. Thank you, Jessica. So this is what is going to really kick this shit off very amazingly. And as it does this, you're coming into a real-time processing of exactly how, okay, of exactly how you realistically master these abilities. It's also important to know that the concept of mastering abilities has been done by you every year. So the nature of how you're going to be mastering these abilities is like in a way where your whole life, maybe since 2010, you've been riding a bike, and you every year ride a bike more naturally, like it's breathing, versus this year you've understood how to master riding a bike to where you're able to do things that's not even natural and normal with the bike, like ride it faster than a car. And that, see, I'm using something as absurd as that to give you how much this aha realization will fundamentally switch the way you inductively and deductively analyze information forever, because we're incorporating the supernatural. And that's one of the most important facets of this. The 0-degree Virgo closing quincunx, the 210-degree at 0 degrees Virgo to, you guessed it, 0 degrees Pluto. This is the first mark of finally transforming your brain's ability to realistically process the force and how you use the force. After you've began to harvest it and now charge this energy through Leo that you activated since January and February, okay, that 0-degree Virgo point is transforming. So 210 degrees is a Scorpio signature transformation. Why is it that Virgo 8th houses Aquarius? The relationship between Virgo and Aquarius actually goes into epistemology and mechanics of scientific analysis. What do I mean by that? The reason why the perceptual mutable signs, 8th house fixed signs, is because the fixed signs, which are resistant to change, are transformed by new perspectives. Virgo of analysis and facts and details transforms Aquarius of knowledge, because what you know at a given time is fixed. All right. You knew that you were second place when you won the race because you were awarded the silver medal. This is what is collectively known. Everyone knows you as that second place winner. And so Virgo has introduced a new detail that doesn't have to be new or old, but wasn't previously learned. This is how the development of science constantly transforms. What we know, there's the true knowledge in a sense that's eternal, and then there's our version of knowledge that with analysis will transform. A new detail emerged where the person who won first place was cheating and they were on steroids. In fact, they shouldn't even have ran that race. So now, with that Virgo detail, the drug test that gives physical evidence that the person who won first place just got disqualified, what we know has transformed. Now, you previously knew you were second place. Now you know, in light of this detail, you're the first place winner. That's what it's going to feel like, too. But this is so that's the science of how Virgo analytical perspective transforms knowledge. Think of every scientific discovery that has been debunked in light of new critical information. This is why Virgo is the critic. We call it the dream killer. That's going to be like, your music is trash. How about you never do this again? And you don't like to hear it from Virgo, but we need someone who's going to be relentless and cruel. Scorpio is very extreme. So unless you're like a masochist, then you'll go for a Scorpio because they're not going to hold back for you. But like Virgo, yes. So now that we've kind of looked at this analogy, right? That 0 degree point with Mercury and Venus is revisiting supernatural abilities of awaken. And now you are processing mentally how exactly you have affected a causality between a way you've behaved and this expression of a supernatural ability, technique, occurrence. You're really experiencing it. That's what that 0 degree point means, especially with the moon that's going to go here. So from now until the 6th, it's quite literally setting that up. And you're coming into more data analytically of how exactly you are harvesting supernatural energy beyond just some esoteric concept and now brimming through your literal fingertips. If you have already experienced a bit of this now, while it's just beginning to go there, I want you to comment transformation. Okay. Because once we actually activate this new moon and step into the 6th, this is going to initiate and activation lunar cycle of 0 degrees, 30 degrees, 60 degrees. 0 to 90 degrees of the moon and sun phase is activation. You are activating analytical understanding with this 0 degree and 1 degree point of how exactly you are expressing your supernatural energy and quality of mind. Key, Nen. No one has ever had to teach this to you. You just have to tap in, and your higher self, your higher mind guides you through the process as you, of course, analyze and sense through this lower realm. That being said, that's the best part about this, because if you don't believe this is real, you could literally experience it through the rest of the week and then attempt to debunk me. This is happening to everybody. The way you're going to experience it depends on your rising sun and moon, but it's very, very, very important to establish. Whoa. But it's very important to establish just due off the fact of how powerfully and uniquely you will continue to be in a position to facilitate, quite literally, all of this power, all of this understanding, all of this magic. Thank you, Carrie. I got your Venmo. So, yeah, it's not only a lot to look forward to, boom, but it's putting you in that position to come into powerful details of how specifically you're more than capable and more than able of coming into this full realization of how it is you're getting ready to integrate your literal destiny path. All right. So once again, August 6th is going to really be that beginning of the process that activates more analytical understanding of how specifically you're harvesting these supernatural abilities. And this is going to be in the formation of habitual patterns that become supernatural techniques that will be replicable. And the whole purpose of Virgo is you're having it be consistent so that when you go to Libra, if someone's like, I don't believe you could do this. Like this I told you so tour is going to be supernatural as fuck. It's going to be the next level. And it's marking the beginning of a 20-year era that's going to come with more assuredness, more experience, more knowledge. But you see how smoothly I'm channeling this. This is years of experience fully integrating, and I am a reflection of your development in this vein. All right, especially if you're like a Pisces sun. This is going to, for I can imagine if you're Pisces with your sun near Neptune and Saturn, you're being inundated with synchronicities through other people and through yourself. And it could feel like you're like outside of this realm because you are. But other than that, regardless of zodiac sign, this will really pronounce this final analysis that you're reevaluating. This is also going to mark a major shift in the way you live your life. Hence the application of supernatural abilities that now shift what you are able more to do because you have so much greater mindset. Okay. Some of you are going to see a change in your receptivity. You're going to see more wealth than you're used to. This is going to kind of the vision that I'm having of you is like the past 4 months, you were working on something, you were trying to pump water, and it looked like there was no water coming out. It was like little water coming out. And you pumped so much, you didn't even realize that now you have a flood coming out because what you did that you didn't think was happening deep at your root and deep at your core. And now all of that is coming through. It's not even delayed. You just underestimated how deep you were. And shout out to Esco. Like him, I don't have any Virgo. I don't have any Libra. I don't have any Virgo. I don't have any Leo like that. So for those of you who are Virgo deficient or you have empty Virgo, it opens up that room of analysis. We don't focus too much on analysis. We focus more on the other perceptuals. For those of you with Gemini, you focus more on just experimental data. For those of you with Sag, you focus more on interpreting analysis. For those of you in Pisces, you focus more on being delusional as far. I mean, forming beliefs based off of everything. Virgo could be like a curse. Actually, eh, not having Virgo in your chart, low key, is a blessing. Anyone with Virgo energy in their chart will confirm this for me. If you don't have any Virgo in your chart, it is a bit of a blessing because you're not cursed with over analysis. When you have Virgo in your chart, it's a superpower, but it's one of those superpowers that's like a blessing and a curse because, like, now you're smelling how bad that person's breath is. Now it's like you can't not notice how sorry someone see. Like, I don't have Virgo, so I can listen to someone that's trash and I can literally lie to myself and be like, that was all right. That was okay. I can hear how it's good. If I had Virgo energy, I couldn't. It'd be like Michael Jackson, like, no, that's not the I need to do record it again. Like, I can't not hear how trash you are. And that's where it's kind of like a curse. Like, you can't not be perfect, and now you're a neurotic perfectionist that over analyzes everything. And you're going to analyze things better than 99% of people around you. So now you can't even trust other people because having Virgo energy makes you more hyper aware of how incompetent everyone else is. See, I don't have that. So I don't have to worry about how incompetent I can be. I can even convince myself that, yeah, in fact, I'm so that's where Virgo can hit more like a curse than a blessing. And someone has to clean this shit up. So Virgo, thank you very much. Scorpio is even more of an extreme version of this, though. So Virgo is diet Scorpio. Virgo is diet Scorpio. So Scorpio is kind of a version of that, where Scorpio will feel like they're in hell because you don't know that they know you're fake. And you might feel like you're not fake, but now the Scorpio with Pluto especially can see directly into your weaknesses and your psychological processes. It's like knowing that someone farted, but they're trying to pretend they didn't fart. That's what it's like kind of being a Virgo and a Scorpio. And you have to deal with people lying to your face and lying to themselves, and it could just make you super fucking cynical because it's hard to trust other people for Virgo because they're incompetent, and for Scorpio because motherfuckers be lying. And like Scorpio low key be a lie detector test, especially if they have mutable energies. So I'm just so glad I don't have any of those energies. I'm like so glad. Like I'd be so pissed if I had Scorpio Virgo. I would be up all night. Like my landlord is trying to kill me, and then y'all usually be right too. Who wants that kind of power? I'd just rather stay oblivious. That's crazy. And it is what it is. So thankfully, whether you have Virgo or not, transits through this energy allow you to kind of facilitate this through other people. And that's the beautiful thing about astrology. What you have empty in a chart, someone else has. And what someone else has, they may have empty. So it reminds you that in coming together and sharing this perspective, we exponentially multiply that collective wisdom, that collective knowledge. And that's what makes compatibility so fascinating. Anyway, post the 6th is where you're going to really feel how it is you're applying this change. Okay. And moving forward, what we want to see is Mercury and Venus having sex. I mean, meaning this is your brain processor connecting with your heart. So here's how I want you to see this. Okay. Basically, okay, like Diddy and Cassie. I like that. That's very interesting. What's very interesting with this is what Mercury did is that you sent a bird. Let's say Mercury is the bird that gets information. Let's say you're in your arc, right? Let's say this whole concept, you know what I mean? Of like Mercury representing the bird you put out there so that it can gain information for you ahead of time. So you earlier, a few months ago, set a bird when Mercury finished its retrograde and was direct again and met with the sun. Your brain was aligned with your consciousness. You took that bird and it started flying forward. So you're still becoming aware of things. That's how the Mercury is ahead of the sun. You started becoming aware of things. That bird started collecting information for you. Your brain has been processing information ahead of you being aware of it. Venus, your heart, has been polishing and beautifying situations ahead of you being aware of it, and it's now properly polished. Okay. So now at 4 degrees Virgo, the bird, caw, 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 land, or this is happening because it's for real, right? Now it's going back to reevaluate previously processed information with these updated insights. What's going to happen is that bird that you set ahead of you is in this retrograde coming back. And that's what Mercury and the sun represents. That bird, your brain, is updating you with analyzed information that moving forward, you're going to be aware of. Oh, that's what the bird was talking about. Oh, that's what this bird was talking about. And you're going to be aware of the analysis. So that's what's happening now, where your brain is connecting with your heart that's getting ready to polish moving forward. Like, hey, this is how it is. Get ready. So this is a very important transit. The moon is still in Virgo, opposite Neptune, totally disillusioning you, having you understand analytically, moon in Virgo, how specifically you can make real everything you imagine, how the details that you physically sense, which are being unconventionally innovated with Uranus here, allow you to make these beliefs real in the manifestation of these supernatural talents you're activating. That is such a mouthful. Okay, so by the time the moon goes into Libra and we step into this final stage of activation, Mercury is now getting ready to do one of the next most important things. You ready? You ready? You ready? Boom. And look at how slick the moon thinks it is. Do you think it's a coincidence that we're going to have this 1 degree square? So this is important coming into the third decan of Leo. One, Mars is conjunct Jupiter squaring Saturn. So this is where we're evolving our magic power. We're quite literally evolving the nature of what you do with your powers because you're applying this evolved mindset to it, this update of your firmware. Okay. This is going to completely change your beliefs because now you're blossoming from under the ground true evidence, true actions that align with these beliefs. Simultaneously, while Mercury is getting ready to revisit the detailed processing of your supernatural abilities. This is presupposing that everything up until this point was more auto nervous and you were awakening processes within you that your brain couldn't realistically even perceive. This is where that Virgo point is going to have you, oh, this is how it's working. So you did that the past few days, and this is where retrograding back is, this is going to be so awesome. So that means as of now, for every one of you that commented transformation, as of now, you have experienced key experiences of you using your supernatural abilities. You experienced a synchronicity where like you said something was going to happen and it happened just like that. You said a word and you look to your right and you see it on a truck. You know what I mean? Like something that completely shows that it was beyond just the physical for you to facilitate this. It's a causality that's metaphysical. All right. You have just broken through the processing of this. For those of you who are agreeing with this Mercury retrograde is going to reevaluate what that is and click it into gear. It's going to be like, oh, that really is how it happened. Versus the first time where you're experiencing it like it's new, like, oh shit. And for you're not surprised though. You've been doing this, right? But the reason why I want to say it like that is coming back around to reinforce it by the 16th, that square, right? The 90-degree angle that the moon is going to integrate, right, is going to represent this reevaluative analysis of your brain, integrating the understanding of its interpretation. So you are seeing exactly how you broke through into this supernatural experience. And then it's going to go back to Leo on stage. And this is how you're going to augment your stage performance real time. Because now you are on, it's literally like you being on stage. I got the pony. I got the pony. Pause. I got the pony. Double pause. I got the pony. And now you're literally realizing, holy shit, someone's jumping around like they're a pony. Someone just, oh, wow. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm making an analogy on the spot. It's like in your performance, you just experienced somebody turn into a pony. I'm using a very extremely absurd example because your experience of this is going to be extremely absurd, as if to wake you up out of an illusion conditioned on you since you were a child and taking fully back your power and perspective, because now you're factually experiences and we want you to define the experience. If it's different from what I'm saying it is, it's you who should define this. So now, right? I got the pony. And you're looking at someone transform into a pony. And then you're like, whoa. And then they transform back into a human. And now you're starting to analyze, does my performance have a supernatural effect on my audience? And then Mercury goes back into retrograde, and you're like, I got the pony. And now you're starting to see how you singing, I got the pony, is transforming certain people in the audience into literal ponies. That has to be the most retarded analogy I've ever used in my whole life. But the reason why that's a perfect analogy is because it's going to feel so absurd. It's going to disillusion you from the collective narrative of beliefs that have been drilled in your head, so that once you're seeing how it really is, it's going to be like, wow, a lot of what I've been taught is just completely wrong. A lot of what I've been made to believe is fantastical is more mundane than me breathing. And that's going to be lit. So that's where now we go back into Leo and we instantly disillusion again with Neptune. Now we're revisiting the way we began to process how creatively we can integrate our imagination. Okay. All right. And this is going to revisit how much more passionate we are about creatively making more fun our talents, because we're applying this analysis to how we develop the talents. And that, of course, is what's going to bring us to the next most important transit at the full moon, basically, Mercury and the sun. Mercury and the sun at the tail end of full moon is now going to bring the full awakening and harvest of our supernatural talents. So we've activated these talents with the new moon, and then the proper full moon post the Pluto awakening, which will be the last time it's in Aquarius until it retrogrades back from Capricorn, is going to be the full knowledge of what talents we've activated. After you started to see how it's actually breaking through, okay, and it's going to feel like it's going to feel like water that's finally flowing through effortlessly, that you had painstakingly untwisted the cords and tied through to take from your brain to your body, right? Something that's fully yours and is tied to your life force. And now this is where your bird is coming back, letting you know through this epiphany and full moon harvest what you're getting ready to analyze and perfect. And your brain is now, the bird is now going to go behind you and revisit everything you were previously aware of. And it's going to reevaluate. Okay, this is how we did this. It's like a review period. All right. So now, in looking at this review period, first of all, we have the square to Uranus. That's the most important part about this conjunction. The square to Uranus is going to revisit how much more innovative and unconventionally you're going to be mastering these talents and harnessing this energy. Okay. So this is where we're moving back. The sun makes it into Virgo. So everything from now until the 23rd is the pre-analysis phase. The pre-analysis phase actually incorporates an initial analysis, and Venus actually polishing it. The reason why this is going to be fun as fuck is because the beginning part of this activation of power was mainly intangible, because we had to align your sense of self and your values with it. This moving forward is going to be creative and tangible. It's in your hands, and you are tasked with perfecting this. So people who actually put in the work are going to produce so much in time for the apocalypse and this world ending, versus people who are going to spend their advance. They're not going to really feel like they have to work on anything else, because they already feel they're perfect. They feel like there's nothing more to improve, and they're going to take it. They're not going to take advantage of course, what is being set up for them at this point. We also want to look at the sextile between Mars and Mercury retrograde, which is going to align this reevaluative information and brain processing with the conviction and assertiveness of everything that you will be aware of what to do with it. So this pre-analysis phase is bringing to your attention how specifically you've already begun to harvest supernatural abilities and talents. Okay. Gemini answers what, Virgo answers how, Sagittarius answers what it means, Pisces answers why. So this is all focused on how. This represents the pre-analytical period Now we're stepping into the analysis phase where we're going to pull receipts starting from this 1 degree Virgo. And Mercury makes it trine Chiron. We have the Chiron trine to Mars. This is going to really wrap our vocabulary around much more confidently about how we overcome previous vulnerabilities in our ego and the assertive, true direction to take that as we have already gotten off stage so that we can master the talents we've developed while on stage. Okay. Then, of course, we're going to keep going retrograde. Mercury is going to station at 21 degrees. And this is where all hell breaks loose, ladies and gentlemen. So from now until the end of August, by the end of August here, okay, once Mercury is 21 degrees, we're getting ready to move forward and now apply all this analysis. What's one thing you notice at the day Mercury goes direct? Venus is opposite Neptune, completing its polishing of your techniques and your analysis, and it's getting ready to go in its rulership of Libra. Put that shit on and completely begin to present these receipts. Venus going in Libra, which we'll talk about in a transit talk, is getting the performance venue ready and beautified before the sun comes there in its fall, and we start to present these receipts, baby. Okay. It at this point has organized all your receipts. Like, okay, we got these, we got this, we got this. And Mercury going back there is going to fact check all these receipts that the sun is being made aware of right now. All the proof, all the facts, all these behavioral patterns that you're polishing up. And that's where now in the analysis phase, we have Mercury getting ready to come back to Virgo as we activate the new moon in Virgo, this new phase of analysis that's going to get ready to appropriately harvest what we activated with Mercury since March. And yeah, since March. Okay. So what we want to see from August 29th to September 9th, okay, is post reevaluation. That birdie messenger is getting ready to catch up to your consciousness so it can give you its summation report. This is you rebuilding courage through the application of this final analysis you reevaluated and how it adds to how much more boldly you communicate. The 29-degree Leo quincunx to Capricorn is extending this transformation by now transforming how much more powerfully in conviction you express everything you're getting ready to now analyze once again. So it's really just perfecting elements of said performance before we now begin to master it. And that's where Mercury, starting from September 9th, will catch up so fast to the sun. What we want to see here is now, boom, this opposition to Saturn. This is going to correlate with the full moon. Okay. This is going to help you understand how everything that you are analyzing to be real is directly connected to everything you believe. This is where certain metaphysical dynamics outside of your field of vision that you may have received synchronicities for, but may not have known how we're correlated. You're coming into detailed analysis of how it's directly correlated. You're coming into detailed analysis of exactly what you need to change in your beliefs to align with what you're analyzing is real. Okay. And that opens the gate through this initial 180-degree harvest. All right. And full moon harvest of supernatural and metaphysical understanding of magic and magecraft, aka harvesting your behavioral patterns through the understanding of the belief systems behind your habits. That's what's going to lead into one of the most important squares, the Mercury Jupiter square, where now, after understanding how our beliefs are real, integrating the evolution of our mindset into how we actually make these abilities techniques. And of course, that's what's going to bring the conclusion of this opposite Neptune, totally disillusioning ourselves for how more specifically to master our imagination. And then we come into the eclipse where we're going to have Mercury and the sun meet again right before the new moon. Boom. And this is going to mark the I told you so tour, guys. So post September 9th, this is where now that we've kind of resituated how we want to analyze because we have more supernatural energy to work with, you're going to use that to pull receipts and you're going to look like a miracle worker because you're going to be able to master exactly how to express this, grind that experience, and then present that experience moving forward. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this transit talk. I think it was really fucking awesome. I think the excitement we kind of shared here kind of goes a long way relative to how you're going to really unlock these new abilities and powers coming into the eclipse. That being said, you may find yourself replacing old authority figures who may have looked at what you do as not even real, only for you to realize that it's realer than what they've been talking about. And everything just kind of switches like a lever. And those of you who are doing what God put you here to do, you're not going to be scared. You're going to be ready versus people who may abuse their position because they don't know yet who they are. Okay. So for those of you who would like a 15-minute report, you know what to do. Use the discount code Mercury and I'm going to hook you up. You get it half off. And yeah, you already know the deal. Thank you, Carrie. As far as perspective, I'm not sure if, yeah, thank you. This is going to be in your third house. So this is going to really activate your attitude around how you're forming these behaviors. So Virgo is sixth house from your Aries sun, and Virgo is also the third house from your Cancer rising. So the third house of mindset means that you're activating new mindsets that will integrate your behavioral patterns. It's a new attitude about your awareness of your behavior. It's an integration of new abilities. So this is going to really just double a lot more how specifically by this point you're able to show I'm directly connected to the angels. I called on the angels. I'm showing you the synchronicity. You're going to be able to replicate and consistently master these abilities and skills. Okay. And yeah, thank you, Minty, for that. You guys stay blessed as always. And until next time.